Hello and welcome. This is Japan, and I figured it's probably safe to do the Backlash predictions now. It's one of those things where, like, it's past Wednesday. If they're going to add a random match, it would have probably happened. I think the last one was the Dom Penta thing. I think that was like the most random match they were going to do. So let's jump into a prediction for these five matches for a card that is kind of a grab bag, to be honest. I don't know what to make of it to a certain extent. I'm actually going to Backlash, so that'll be fun. If you happen to be going, totally sit in the comments. It'd be cool to see who else is going. So I have a little bit of fear to see that maybe this one isn't going to be as crazy, but I think we do have some fun matches on here. Even though there's probably not a lot of craziness that's going to happen with title changes and stuff as we were about to predict. So let's start off with the Fatal 4-Way for the U.S. Championship. It's Drew McIntyre, Damian Priest, LA Knight, and Jacob Fatu. Jacob Fatu just winning the U.S. title at WrestleMania is, I'm almost 100% locked, not going to lose it here. It wouldn't be bad for Drew to win just to be a Grand Slam champion, and I think that, this could be revisited later at SummerSlam or and even a different PLE close, out a little bit out. But it's honestly who's taking the pin, I think, is the hardest part of here. I would assume that it's probably going to be Damian Priest, but I don't know. Honestly, all four men are like extremely over with like creative right now. Obviously, it's going to be somebody has to eat it, and I hope it's not Drew McIntyre to a certain extent because I think he's the only one that can't really come back from that. But like Jacob Fatu pinning LA Knight again would pretty much solidify that this championship is his, and that's it. That is the only reason. So like you wouldn't have to worry about anything. But yeah, my prediction is easily Jacob Fatu retains. Next up is honestly probably the hardest match to predict just because there is multiple things that go into it, but that is the Women's Intercontinental Championship match, which is Lyra Valkyrie versus Becky Lynch. Honestly, there's a lot of smart things to do either way here to make this match like have some longevity. Obviously, Lyra retaining here could extend this feud out for another couple PLEs, couple different things. They could definitely still be going at it because Becky turned on her. You obviously have the whole Becky Lynch hurting Bayley. That Bayley could come back at some point. I feel like the natural progression of things is to have Lyra lose here to Becky Lynch, and then eventually, within the next couple weeks before Money in the Bank, Bayley returning to challenge Becky Lynch or something like that, depending on how much time she has off and what they want to do. I think having Becky Lynch have that Intercontinental Championship, it would also upgrade it like it did with the NXT Women's title last year or the year before. I think it was like 2 years ago. I think that little bit of time she had it really helped solidify it. As being a top championship, which is right now probably one of the biggest prizes in all of WWE is that women's NXT championship because it is a stacked division. So there could be something to be said if Becky wins here, and I feel like it wouldn't be as crazy. Lyra has had a pretty decent reign. We've seen Chelsea Green's U.S. title reign end, so it wouldn't be completely out of the blue. But also leaving it on Lyra and defeating Becky would be good because they could set them up for another match after this. So it's one of those things that I could see it going either way. I'm going to go with Becky winning. I think it's the better storyline to do because then you have Lyra become young and hungry and Bayley coming in there, and they could even do a triple threat as the first match and have it where, Lyra and Bayley can't get on the same page to take out Becky Lynch and eventually have to turn on each other just to do the match, and then that would set up eventually then a Becky Lynch versus Bayley match where maybe she takes the title off of her. It makes the IC title a lot more exciting because it's actually in a big feud. So I'm liking this so far. It's probably one of my favorite feuds going into this. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Becky Lynch. Next up, we have Pat McAfee versus Gunther. This is probably the least excited match that I am here for. I don't really necessarily feel like Pat McAfee's been bad. He has not wrestled since WrestleMania 38, so that is a little bit of time to be off. About 3 years and some change. But that doesn't mean that he's not in shape or anything. But it's kind of one of those things. Like, he obviously stood up for himself in the last Raw, so it made it a little bit better as, like, at least a match to me, because it's like, okay, well, he's definitely showing what he can do on the mic and stuff, and that's definitely trying to, get under Gunther's skin. But he basically, during that, just kind of lit a fire under Gunther. So honestly, I think this match should be like a minute. Like, it really should just be Gunther beating the living crap out of Pat McAfee and just retaining Gunther being that crazy heel. I mean, I am assuming that the match is going to be where Pat is just going to be able to do a bunch of stuff to frustrate Gunther, and then eventually Gunther's going to turn on him. But I don't know. I just don't see that being the call to do. But I do think no matter what Gunther wins, I would be it'd be absolutely insane to have Gunther lose here. I'm not even a big Gunther fan, but like, it just doesn't make sense to have a former world champion that's literally had the belt less than a month ago lose to a commentator that in universe has not wrestled in 3 years. So that is, yeah, it would definitely destroy a lot of things. Then we get the next match that had no build to it, and it's just a Raw rematch, which was Penta versus Dom. Now, this match I feel is kind of 50-50 because I want to see Penta, wrestle. So I really am not that upset with this match. I like Dom as a champion, so I'm not necessarily upset with this match being on the card. Now, I feel like there should have been a six match because I feel like the Gunther match is not going to take up a lot of time. So I feel like that's what they should have done. Is add this match to this, shore up the card, and have one more bigger match. Now, the match that I'm pretty sure that got taken away was Rhea Ripley and Io Sky versus Julia and Roxanne, which would have been generationals of just love and awesomeness. I would have been able to feed myself from that match. I don't even know what I'm saying, but I would have just absolutely loved it because I love all four women in that match, and we're just gonna get that on a Raw now. So that's a little annoying, at least for me going to this event. So this match, again, just doesn't have the build to be put on here to a certain extent. With Penta losing here, kind of puts him out of that title contention. I do believe he gets some sort of either interference with El Grande Americano or the Judgment Day itself. I feel like there should be at least something where Finn messes up again and either gets sent to the back or, whatever it is that they do so they can further the Judgment Day storyline. But I think overall, I think that is one of the easier ones. I think Dom retains. I think there's no point of taking Dom's title away that fast. Then we got the main event, which has had the best build up, but it's probably going to be one of those matches that not much is going to happen, like, of noteworthy, but it's going to be John Cena versus Randy Orton in Randy Orton's backyard, which is really cool. But there is no way that Cena does not win here. I don't see anything in the world having him lose here. There would be no point. That would literally be one of the worst booking decisions in the world, to just have Cena drop it less than a month away, because obviously he's a mega heel and been doing very good heel stuff. So, like, why would you do anything like that? So I think it's kind of obvious. Obviously, Cena retains here, and I think overall, I mean, I'm pretty excited. I'm pretty excited about the overall show. I think it's going to be one of those shows that not necessarily has a lot of crazy like title changes or anything. I think I only predict one, and that's not even 100%. But I really don't see like not enjoying it. Like, I think it's going to be just a fun little PLE basically, which Backlash has been better in other years. I feel like the last couple Backlashes had a better card together and some more stakes involved. And I think they did pretty solid, but I think they were really lost with the women's championships, because no Io Sky, no Tiffany Stratton seems very strange. And I think that Saturday night main event, which is coming in between here and Money in the Bank, I think it really killed a lot of this, because they're going to have to run some title matches onto that card. And yeah, I think they got kind of taken out from here. So I guess we'll see what happens. Tell me if you guys are going to enjoy this, or you think you'll enjoy this PLE. And I will see you guys in the next one. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Bye, guys.